Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Between the Covers podcast, where we are working every day to remove the self-limiting beliefs that are preventing us from becoming the heroes of our own stories. I am Marcus Spar, and just as a quick heads up, if you're hearing any noises in the background, my partner Libby is deciding to do some things around the house with some free time that we have, and apparently now she is choosing to hammer on some things. And I don't know if the mic's picking that up, but if it is, that's just how it's going to be for a bit. Today, I want to talk about allowing ourselves to follow our delights. Or, as the title of the podcast is, Follow Your Delights. This is something that I've heard from Kristen Hinge and Natalie Roy of the Create podcast several times now. And the concept is not necessarily planning anything, especially if you're going on a trip or anything like that, but just giving yourself the opportunity to look around and just kind of follow and do whatever your mind and your body is saying, this is what I want to do. This is something that we had done just over this last weekend. Libby and I took a trip to Leavenworth with our friends John and Dan, and we had a great time while we were there. And this also happened to be the same weekend that our other friends, Ben, Katie, and Brandon, were in Seattle for a banana ball game, which I'm sure they absolutely followed their delight on that. It was, I think, for everyone involved, though I haven't confirmed with those who went to Seattle whether or not it actually was as enjoyable as they hoped that it could have been, but I'm assuming so. It was a good weekend for all of us, I believe. We had a great time. Now, this isn't the first time that we've gone to Leavenworth with John and Dan, and we spent 2 nights there so we could have some more time to just spend playing games, of walking around and seeing some of the sights and the shops. And when we first got into town on Saturday morning, we kind of looked around the main shopping area of Leavenworth, and the question came up of, well, what do we want to do? Because there's so much to take in over there. And I just turned to everyone and I said, you know what? This is what I'm choosing to do. And, I would like to kind of follow along with what you guys want to do as well, but I am going to choose to follow my delight. While we are in Leavenworth, since we're all big gamers, that means going to Krampus's cave. And while we were there, I found a nice set of dice that I want to use for the campaign that Ben's going to run us through. It very much fits the character that I'm going to be playing. Before we did that, because we always plan on going to Krampus's while we're there, we stopped off at the bookstore that they have in town. It was something that we were able to just take our time, wander around, look at the titles, look at anything that was catching our eye, and we enjoyed that experience. Even though I didn't personally buy anything, I did get some pictures of some books that I'm going to see if I can find either audiobooks or ebooks through our local library system, because I'm curious about the stories. And we had fun pointing out all of the different, in the next campaign, John's going to be playing a werewolf, so anything that is remotely werewolf, we always have to point out. Libby has a tendency of playing characters that betray the party in some form or fashion, so I find a picture, or I find a book that's titled, I think it was like, I Must Betray You. And I took a picture of that and sent it to Ben, and it's like, hey, I found Libby's book. And we had fun with it. We had fun just looking around the bookstore. We had fun seeing everything there was in Krampus's cave. We took the time to decide what it is that we wanted to do for lunch that day. And of course, you've got 4 people, 4 different tastes, and what we ended up deciding on was, hey, you know what? Let's go get a pizza. And we're in a place that is very German themed, and so usually we go there and the plan is to get like sausages or bratwurst or something like that. We don't typically think of, hey, let's go get pizza. And yet we found this really highly rated pizza restaurant and enjoyed our food there. It was a phenomenal time. We talked about the campaign that's coming up. We talked about what we've been seeing, what we wanted to do. After that, we went to this cider shop and we had some drinks, and they have all sorts of board and card games available, and we played. Oh man, we had fun. There was so much laughter. And by this point, I mean, we hadn't really gone to too many places, and yet we were in town for like 6 hours at this point. And why was that? Because we were following our delight. We had never been to this cider shop. We had never gone to this pizza restaurant. We were thinking of maybe going and doing an escape room, but as soon as we saw the price, it's like, well, we don't really think the delight is worth that much right now. And all of this on top of the fact I found out this morning that this one game on Steam that we all want to play, that is an escape room simulator, is now on sale for $8. That may end up being the route that we go. And we just wandered around. We took in the sights. We admired a lot of dogs. We just enjoyed ourselves. Now, this was definitely easier for us to do while we're kind of in vacation mode, even though it's just a weekend trip. But we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. And there's still so much to do and so much to see that there's going to be plenty more to do the next time that we go to visit Leavenworth. And we walked. We walked quite a bit. And then at the end of the day, of just this Saturday, we decided to go back to the Airbnb that we were splitting. And we have some snacks. Oh, yeah, we went to one of the best restaurants there. It's called the Cheesemonger. Oh, so many artisanal cheeses that you can get there. Oh, man, we absolutely, we got more cheese than we really needed. And that's okay, because it's not about getting what you need. It's kind of getting what you want. And to a certain degree, this is a lot of what I'm talking about here. It's that whole concept of given the opportunity to do something that you want to do and something that you need to do, when you are following your delight, it is really giving yourself the permission to just do what you want to do. We were still constrained by finances, naturally. And that didn't stop us from having a great time. We got back with our cheeses from the cheesemonger, and we had some crackers, and we played Power Grid. It's a really fun game where the concept is you're trying to power as many cities as you can. And it's one of Dan's favorites. We got it for him for his birthday. This was the second time I'd ever played this game. And it went a little longer than we had expected. And so we left the game where it was. We went to bed. At this point, it was about 11 o'clock. And it's like, okay, we're planning on getting up at 7 in the morning so that we can have time to finish this game. And honestly, we didn't need to get up that early, but we got up at 7 anyways. And once we got finished with that, it took us like about another hour or so to finish the game. And Libby totally smoked us. It was an incredible show that Libby, she just made some very good decisions from the very beginning that just worked out in her favor. And after that, we still had some time. We had to leave the Airbnb by 11 in the morning. And hey, we still had like an hour or so at this point. So why don't we play the other game that, well, technically John and Dan brought 3 games, and we actually got into all 3 games. And we played this game called Vens with Benefits. Oh, it's so fun. And we played that. We laughed for a good solid hour. And then it was cleaning up and packing everything up and going to get breakfast. And once we got done with breakfast, we went back to town because there were a couple of shops that we didn't get to on Saturday because they closed earlier than we had anticipated. And we probably spent, I don't know, an hour longer than we had originally planned while we were there. And no one was complaining. No one was complaining. We were enjoying ourselves. And it was not just the experience that we had with some of the people there, with going to the shops, enjoying the food. It was the company that we were with as well. And when we got done and we were heading home, there were some genuine feelings of sadness because the trip was coming to an end. And that's something that none of us really wanted. Granted, we had to come home, had to be adults, and yet we also felt so filled. We felt so full from this time together. I am hoping that Ben, Katie, and Brandon also feel incredibly full from the time that they had with Banana Ball on Saturday. They had a much faster, like, whirlwind trip than what we had. And I still sincerely hope that they had an incredible time with this trip, with this experience that they were so fortunate to get into. In this world where we are often told that there are things that we should be doing and that we need to do, that there are all of these demands that are being made of us, in a lot of cases, it can oftentimes feel like we don't have the time, the energy, the space to really say, you know what? I want to do something that I want to do. Well, not that I want to do something that I want to do. I'm going to do something that I want to do. And I don't know who needs to hear this, and maybe it's you, my friend, but give yourself permission to allow yourself to do what you want to do. Follow that delight. You might have some new experiences that you never expected. Now, if I did follow all of my delight while I was there, I likely would have spent a lot more money at Krampus. And there is this restaurant that does pizza in a cone, effectively like an ice cream cone kind of situation, but it's with pizza. And the 2 times that we've been there, I've always wanted to go in and try. And you know what? I think next time we go, I am definitely going to try that out. And the point of all of this really is to just have fun, to play, to actually find some joy in life. In these oftentimes very dark and fearful times, I think it is so important for us to step away from these dreary realities and maybe even dissociate for a little bit. Remove yourself from these situations as you are able. And even just give yourself some time, an hour or two, however much time that you can give yourself. And just follow the delight. I have heard stories from Natalie and Kristen, who, again, gave me this idea that they have taken trips to Paris and they have just kind of followed their delights, and even if things didn't go the way that they expected, say that there was a restaurant that they really wanted to go to and it was just too long of a wait for the restaurant, and they're like, you know what, I don't think this is going to work, they would still wander around and they would find some place that was in like an alley that was off the beaten path, that they just had the most wonderful food and time with, and they met incredibly awesome people. It seems in a lot of ways the things that can delight us might even be things that you honestly didn't expect. The things that you find delight in, or these new experiences that you might not have really anticipated, are things that you might not have found if you just didn't allow yourself to wander. Just kind of follow signs, follow lights, follow smells, follow some kind of invisible pull within your body and your mind to be and to do whatever you're being told is going to bring you delight. I want to give you permission to say, follow your delight. It's not something that I can do all the time, because if I were to follow my delight all the time, I wouldn't sit down in front of this microphone and come up with these episodes. These can be fun, and these can also be very taxing, and some of them can even be very challenging. But instead of always doing stuff that you need to do or that you should be doing, what if you gave yourself the freedom to do something that you want to do? That is within reason and healthy, that is respectful of yourself and others. And another interesting thing about this trip over this last weekend is that I forgot to bring my antidepressant, and I forgot to bring my melatonin and my medicine that's been helping me sleep lately. And I was tired. I did not sleep well, because I rarely ever do sleep well whenever I'm in a new place. Typically, by the third night, I am actually getting some good sleep. And yet, even though I stuck with the consequences of my actions, that I didn't give myself the time to actually look at my packing list and remember to grab everything, I still came back feeling so full and feeling as if I was still okay and safe and in a good place. I hadn't done this before. I had missed my meds for 2 days. And yet, because of the company, because of the plans that we made, and because of all the fun that we had, I was still in a very good place, mentally and emotionally, even if physically I was tired. This is something that can be so helpful to your mental health. It can be something that can just breathe new life into your world, into your routines. And as I say in pretty much every episode, and I'm going to remind you here, you are worth it. You are worth the time that it takes to do some of these things that bring you delight. If it's something that you can financially invest in, you are worth that investment. Because coming back and being fulfilled is going to help you get so much further than just powering through and continuing to do what needs to be done or what you should be doing. You can actually give yourself more energy and use the time that you have in order to accomplish these shoulds and needs in a more productive manner. Again, give yourself permission to follow your delight. You are worth it. And life is so much more than just fear. And again, this is coming from someone who also lives in a place of privilege. And it's very much that you may not have the opportunities that I do here. You might not be able to afford it. You might not be able to have the time. But give yourself something. Give yourself a little bit of time. Maybe it's a little bit of time to just relax, turn off some lights, listen to some nice music, or even just lie down in the darkness and the silence of the world around you with no distractions, no screens, no TV, and just allow yourself to be. That might be something that delights your body and delights your mind and helps you to find rest and to fill yourself up so that the next day, whatever it is, that you have to get up and do what needs to be done, you can do it with a much clearer mind and more energy and focus than you might have had otherwise. If you have any questions about what I've been talking about here, feel free to send me an email. My email address is questions.btcpod@gmail.com. And you can also send me some ideas for people that we can interview or research for future hero studies. And I am looking forward to talking with you again in the future. So until next time, live strong for today.